Hello children, I'm just back with a new video for you, and here we are just discussing about the social reform movement in Bengal. Not only in Bengal, we have already discussed about the social reform movement in various parts of our country in the Indian subcontinent like Maharashtra, Madras, Pune, in different provinces in India. In this video, we are just going to learn about the social reform movements, as because in my last audio clip I couldn't just finish the social reform movements that were conducted in the mid of the 19th century. Okay, so this will be continued from today's class also. This is the reaction against colonial rule. First of all, let me introduce the chapter, as because this is the reaction against colonial rule, cooperation and revolt. So basically we are discussing here about the social reform movement. So let's talk about the social reform movement of Maharashtra, as because in Maharashtra also two important personalities. First of all, most of you have just heard the name before, and obviously he is Jyotirao Phule or Jyotiba Phule. Don't get just confused with the name, as because in so many books you can just see the name. In some books it's written Jyotiba Phule, in some books it can be written Jyotirao Phule. So both are correct. You don't need to just create any panic, as because if you write Jyotiba Phule either, or you write just Jyotiba Phule in your answer script, both will be just correct. No marks will be deducted for that. Okay, so Jyotirao Phule, he was from Maharashtra. Along with his wife Savitri Devi, they had just contributed a lot for the promotion of the common people. They had really worked very well for the development of the common peoples, as because you know that during that time the elite class peoples, their intention was to just means underestimate and to just humiliate the common peoples or the poor peoples, those who were just called as a downtrodden class of the society. Every time they were just humiliated, they were underestimated by the elite class people. So to just keep their dignity high, Jyotirao Phule or Jyotiba Phule, along with his wife Savitri Devi, they had just contributed a lot in Maharashtra. So few social reform movements that were introduced by Jyotirao Phule and his wife Savitri Devi. She was his associate. Every time she took the side of her husband, just because her husband was really a very good social reformer, just like Ram Mohan Roy. He is one of the most important social reformers of West Bengal. Just like that, Jyotirao Phule or Jyotiba Phule, he is also remembered in the social reform movement in the history of India. Just like that, in the year of 1851, a school was founded under his endeavor or the initiative. That was in the year of 1851. That was in Pune town. The school was founded, and it was clearly stated that in this school the education will be provided. It will be just the education will be just given. It will be just imparted to the students, not only to the Brahmins, not only to the upper class peoples. Along with that, the common peoples, they will also given the same opportunity, same fame from where they could just get the education. This was the first and the foremost thing. And the second one, I must tell you that Satya Shodhak Samaj or the Satya Shodhak Society, that was founded on 24th of September 1873. This is very important for your examination, children. Don't just forget. This is very important, as because in Madhyamik examination also this question comes so many times. So Satya Shodhak Samaj, that was founded by Jyotirao Phule in the year of 1873, 24th of September. The year is also equally important, just like the founder of the society. So for what purpose did was the society founded? First of all, the society worked for the betterment of the common people. Education was imparted, educational opportunity was given for the women. You know, children, that in the 19th century also the education the chance to get enrolled in the educational class or in the educational institution for the women was not so easy. So that's why he wanted to just promote the women education, to just literate, to educate the women during that time. And especially the social obstacle or the obstruction, you know that the main hindrance of the social dignity of the women during that time, that was hampered by the elite class peoples or the Brahmins. That was widow remarriage was not allowed. So for the promotion of the widow remarriage in Maharashtra, He had worked very hard. Previously, we know that for the widow remarriage Act was just introduced in the year of 1856 by Lord Dalhousie, and the initiative that was taken up by Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. But still, in Maharashtra, in 1873, by founding this society, I mean the Satya Shodhak Samaj or society, Jyotirao Phule, he had just means worked very hard for the promotion of the widow remarriage. Though, children, this is quite unfortunate for us that this movement, this kind of social movement, did not come with a great enthusiasm. I mean, great enthusiastic feelings for the common people, just because the common people could not able to understand that what was a movement, what kind of movement it was, as because they were not literate. They were most of the peoples, they were unlettered during that time. They were uneducated, so they didn't have such means opportunity. They didn't have such kind of literacy amongst them, so that they could just read the Sanskrit scriptures, where it was written that it was means in our Sanskrit literature, in our Sanskrit scriptures, widow remarriage was means not a bird. It was just not disbanded, but to just fulfill the evil intention or the aspirations of the Brahmins. The Brahmins, they had just misinterpreted this thing. They had just stated that widow remarriage is not allowed. But finally, he had just worked very hard in Maharashtra for the promotion of the widow remarriage, but it did not just achieve any momentum. Okay, and the second thing is that he had just founded the institution. I mean, I already told you that in the year of 1851 he had just founded that institution. School was just set up in Pune town. So next, I will definitely tell about the religious reforms movement of the Bramha movement and the Hindu revival movement. Bramha movement of the beginning of the 19th century is having an utmost importance. I mean, this was for the first time realized by Raja Ram Mohan Roy, the first modern man of India. Most of you know that Raja Ram Mohan Roy, he just got deputed the first modern man of India. In Bengali, this is called that Bharat Borshe Prothom Adhunik Manush. Okay, so this man, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, you know the contribution of this person, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, for him only the sati system got abolished. It was just disbanded in India since 1829, and that was the biggest achievement of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. I must tell it that not only Raja Ram Mohan Roy, I think being an Indian, I should also feel very proud that this kind of social injustice was absolutely disbanded. This was absolutely just forbidden by Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Though the legal introducer of this act was Lord William Bentinck, he was the then Governor General of India. But still, as because the endeavor or the initiative was taken by Raja Ram Mohan Roy, so being an Indian, being a Bengali people, I also feel the same proud just he felt during that time after passing the act. Okay. So what was the Bramha movement? So Raja Ram Mohan Roy, he felt that for the social reform movement, means he every time wanted to just do something better for the common people. So he just noticed that for the development of the society, what can be the most important obstacle or the hindrance? That was the caste system. To just drive out all the caste system from the minds of the common people in India. So that's why he had just promoted. He had just founded, he had just established a society, and obviously the society came to be known as the Calcutta Arya Sabha. I just repeat the name of the society. This was the first organization that was founded by Raja Ram Mohan Roy. It was Calcutta Arya Sabha that was founded in the year of 1815 in Calcutta. Lots of people, they just came to just join with Raja Ram Mohan Roy. So Raja Ram Mohan Roy, by just establishing this kind of society, Calcutta Arya Sabha, his intention was to just boost up the society with a new order, with a new trend, with a new achievements, with some new social prestigious everything. So from where all the peoples, they will just come under one umbrella, from where they could think that caste system, caste rigidity cannot be the only means of your own inspiration and your own spirit. As because if you really want to excel yourself in the society, if you just really very talented, if you are means really very good person, that is the main thing. As because he had just strengthened up the humanism. I mean, his doctrine was absolutely humanitarian. He wanted to do something better for the common people, especially for those who had been exploiting for a long period of time in the society. For that reason, he had just founded this society. But later on, when this Calcutta Atya Sabha got transferred into Brahmo Sabha or Brahma Samaj in the year of 1828. It was on August 20. I repeat, Calcutta Atya Sabha, that was earlier founded by Raja Ram Mohan Roy in the year of 1815, that got transferred, that was shifted from Calcutta Atya Sabha to Brahma Sabha or Brahma Samaj in the year of 1828 on 20th of August, 20th of August. So many people, so many stewardships were there, like Debendranath Tagore, Keshav Chandra Sen, Vijay Krishna Goswami. They had just come, they had just taken the responsibility to just move, to just speed up the social reform movement after the sad demise of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Children, you must know that after the sad demise or the death of Raja Ram Mohan Roy, one of his disciples, I mean Debendranath Tagore, he took the responsibility, he took the leadership on his own shoulder to just fight back against the elite groups of the society. I mean the Brahmins and their rigidity, orthodoxy, their means elaborating rituals, meaningless rituals, etc. Means from Debendranath Tagore, Keshav Chandra Sen, he also joined in this Brahma reform movement, as because he got attracted from the speeches that were delivered earlier by Debendranath Tagore. But later on, means a conflict broke out, a conflict just arose between Maharshi Debendranath Tagore and that person, I mean Keshav Chandra Sen. So they got divided into two different groups after the sad demise of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. That was another story. Okay, so Vijay Krishna Goswami, he was from a very orthodox family, but he did not love all this orthodoxy, the caste rigidity, caste distinction, and all these things. So finally, he thought to think that he will just join the Brahma movement. He became one of the one of the disciples of Keshav Chandra Sen. Under the leadership of Keshav Chandra Sen, he had just joined the Brahma movement. He was doing excellently. Means he was very good. His job was pretty awesome. That was excellent, and he tried. Every time he had tried to do something better for the common people, those who were really very exploited in the society. But finally, he also took the the discipleship. I mean, he also took the chance from Debendranath Tagore. For Debendranath Tagore, he was very much influenced. I mean, inspired. This person, Vijay Krishna Goswami. So later on, few confusion just arose between these personalities, and finally Vijay Krishna Goswami, he just left. He just abandoned. He just left this Brahma movement, and finally he became the worshipper of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He became the worshipper of that Vaishnavism. He started to just propagate the Vaishnavism or the Vaishnavite tradition in the society. Okay. So I will only again tell you about two personalities, those who were just very much influenced by the Brahmo movement. One of them, he was Raj Narayan Basu, and number two, he was Navagopal Mitra. So Raj Narayan Basu and his organization, I mean the name of the organization was Jatiyo Gaurav Sammilani. That was very important. And Jatiyo Mela, that was founded by Navagopal Mitra, that was also very much important. So Rajanarayan Basu and Navagopal Mitra, they had also started to just reform the society by conducting different kinds of activities in the society. Jatiyo Mela later came to be known as the Hindu Mela. So if the question comes in your question paper that what was the previous name of Hindu Mela, you may just write that it will be Jatiyo Mela. The founder of Jatiyo Mela or Hindu Mela, he was Navagopal Mitra. This is very important. Okay, now we'll tell about the two another social reformers. Most of you here will habituated with the two names. First of all, he was Ramkrishna Paramhansadeva, and number two, he was the disciple of Ramkrishna Paramhansadeva. Obviously, you can guess that who was the disciple of Ramkrishna Paramhansadeva. Ramkrishna Paramhansadeva, he was having lots of disciples, but amongst all the disciples, Swami Vivekananda, he was very prominent. Now let me tell you that in which way Ramkrishna Paramhansadeva, he had just influenced the social reform movement during his period. Ramkrishna Paramhansadeva, his doctrine, his ethics on the caste system was absolutely different. He sought to think that different castes, different peoples, different religions, different communities are absolutely bogus, as because in the society only one thing is there, that is the humanism. He had strengthened up on the basis of the humanitarian idea. So that's why he sought to think. He clearly stated that there are lots of religions in the society. Even in some extent, he had stated, he had told that I have just witnessed, I have just practiced all the religions. I have practiced Islamic religion, I have practiced Zoroastrianism, I have practiced Hinduism, I have practiced Sikhism. He told all these things. Actually, his concept on the religious social movement, that was Sarva Dharma Samannaya. Sarva Dharma Samannaya, Sarva Dharma Samabhava. This is the Sanskritization of this thing. If you just do translate this thing in English, that will be all religions are same. So he was having the religious tolerance towards all the religions. As because he was a Hindu, he was the worshipper of Lord, he is the worshipper of Kali, but still he was having a faith towards all the religions. He never just looked back. He never just told that the religions are different. You must just appreciate the Hindu religion. In some extent, if we do just compare, Ramkrishna Paramhansadeva and his religious doctrines, ethics, and all these things with Swami Dayananda Saraswati and his Arya Samaj. That will be, Swami Dayananda Saraswati in his Arya Samaj, in his Arya Samaj movement, he had clearly stated that amongst all the religions, the Vedas were the ultimate. It means he was having a belief, a strong belief in the Vedic civilization, in the Vedas, and for that reason he told that among all the religious scriptures, Vedas were very prominent. You cannot say so, as because you just show the minimal respect to all other religions too. As because you are the worshipper, you may have the feelings, you may have the belief on the Sanskrit text, the scriptures, and all these things, but simultaneously you must just keep the faith on the other religions too. You cannot say that my religion is the best religion in the world. Yes, obviously you should just admire the other religions also, just like Swami Vivekananda. So Swami Vivekananda, he went to Chicago in the year of 1893. You know that in that year, 1893 is very important in the history of the religious conference. The religious conference was just held in USA, that in Chicago, where Swami Vivekananda, he also just went over there to just represent India. So finally, when he just reached over there, his first speech at a glance, that was very good, and the thunderous applause just came for his first speech. He started his speech like, all my sisters and brothers of America, my sisters and brothers of America. It means he was having a closeness with all the religions. He could easily accept all the religions together. He did not just humiliate, he did not just underestimate to the other religions. When someone is asking you to say something good, something different about your own religion, it means that you will just only say the good things of your own religion and your religion customs. No, simultaneously you must just respect to the other religions too. If you can just respect others, you think that the respect just come from the other persons also. So if we don't just pay the respect to others, how can we just expect, how can we just anticipate that someone will just give the respect to us also? So this is the fact. Swami Vivekananda, he had just represented India during that time, and for that reason Swami Vivekananda is also very famous. He is also remembered in history, not only in the Indian subcontinent, even abroad. Apart from Indian subcontinent, he is also remembered in the all countries for his religious tolerance. So religious tolerance is very important. Now let me tell you that Swami Dayananda Saraswati and Arya Samaj. Swami Dayananda Saraswati was the founder of the Arya Samaj. Children, listen me very carefully. In your book, it's written that, not every book, in few books I have seen that some saying that Arya Samaj was founded in the year of 1857, but this will be absolutely false, as because this Arya Samaj was founded in the year of 1875, and Swami Dayananda Saraswati, he founded this Arya Samaj. And what was the doctrine, what was the ethics of this person? I have already told you that he sought to think that Vedas were the ultimate among all the religious scriptures. Okay, according to him, everything about science is enshrined in the Vedas. So he had just compared science with the Vedic scriptures and Vedic literatures. This was his personal view. I don't have anything to say about that. Okay, so the targets of Dayananda's criticism were issues like idolship. This is very good. Means what kind of social injustice? The social injustice that had been just inherited from person to person since a long period of time in the society, he had just rejected. He had just opposed all those social injustices like idolship, and the sati system, also predominance of priest, child worship, and that like. So child worship, predominant of the priest, the extravagant practices of the priestly class or the Brahmins during that time, everything were just condemned by this. Everything was just condemned by this person, Swami Dayananda Saraswati. So obviously he was a social reformer, and he had just done a lot. So in which provinces, in which regions he had just protested against this kind of social injustices? That was from Punjab and from northwest India. But after the demise of Dayananda, the Arya Samaj movement began to assume the aggressive Hinduism mold, as because I already told you from the beginning of starting this topic. Arya Samaj, I told you that he had just only he had just confined himself that only the Vedic scriptures are best in the society. It's best for the development of a personal human being. So that's why that was a aggressive personal mold that created a biggest question mark amongst the minds of the human, that only how did he say that only the holy scriptures and the Vedas were the ultimate among all the religious scriptures? So I think, this is my personal view, that he must have been said, he could say that apart from these religious scriptures, from Vedic Vedas, all holy scriptures or the textbooks or the treatises are also very much important, equally important to us. He could say all those things. If he could say that, I think it could not have been possible for the common people to just prevent themselves, to just protect the ideas of the Arya Samaj. Arya Samaj could be just flourished more and more, but in reality this was not happen. Now let me tell you that, children, what's the nature and the limitations of the reform movement. I will tell you in a very gist. I will only tell you about the synopsis of this limitation, from where you will just come to know, because it was lots of problems that were just created during that time in the society. You may just get puzzled with the ideas. So that's why, in a very simple sentence, I'm just going to tell you that what were the limitations of the social reform movement. Actually, children, what has happened? You know that the Renaissance in India that came very late. It was in the beginning of the 19th century, when the Renaissance, the rebirth, the meaning of Renaissance, that is rebirth or resurgence, that came in India. So when the Renaissance came in India, you know that was Calcutta centric, that was Calcutta based. So all the people, they couldn't just get the chance to just get acquainted with all these Renaissance centric ideas. So most of the people, they went, they were detached from the purview of these reform movements and the books, text, and all these things. So most of them, they were illiterate, uneducated. It could not have been possible for them to just grasp the knowledge that what is Renaissance, how to just arise the questions in front of your master, in front of your administrator. They couldn't just know it very well. They sort of think that when the different types of social reforms movements were started by Ramkrishna Paramhansadeva, Swami Vivekananda, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. When Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, he had fought, he had struggled a lot for the betterment of the widows during that time. He stated that video remarriage should be given, means video remarriage should be just introduced in India in our culture. So it means the common peoples, they had just opposed that, as because they could not have, they did not understand that what was the perspective behind the emergence of this kind of law and all these things by passing all these laws. They sought to think that this was a clear threat from the British side, as because British intentionally they were trying to means destroy the Hindu culture, their religions, their means doctrines, ethics, and all these things. So that was the problem. So basically, I want to tell you that the movement, the social reform movements, were only confined in the limited Hindu society. Even the Muslim society during that time, they were absolutely detached from this movement. They could not just understand what was the social reform movement, how could it be spread up in the society, what could be the outbreaks, what could be the merits, demerits, advantages and the disadvantages of the social reform movement. So they did not just achieve any goal, any momentum from this movement. So along a very means big portion of the society, they were absolutely detached from the social reform movement. So that's why the social reform movements got means means could not just achieve any momentum, not could not achieve any momentum, I cannot say that this thing, but still they had just opposed that. And the second fact is that many among those connected, the people, they were very educated, it means educated bhadralok. So they were known as the educated bhadralok or middle class, and their own intention was to just pacify, to appease the British government. They knew it very well that since 1844, when Lord Hardinge, he had just announced, that came to be known as the Hardinge announcement. He clearly stated that only English educated Bengalis will be given the extra facility or the opportunity in getting the government jobs. So their only intention was to just pacify the British government, not to do any good things, not to do away any good things for the betterment of the common people. And the third thing is that when the movements were started from the different start of the society, they also belong from the elite groups. They also belong from the elite groups. You can see that means Ishwar Chandra Bandyopadhyay, he was also a Brahmin, and most of the means social reformers, they had also belonged from the means upper class group, upper class of the society. So that's why they could not just get any touch of the common peoples, of the common men in the society. They had struggled, they had just contributed a lot for the promotion of the women education in India in different parts of the country, but still lots of women, their situation, I mean their own social dignity, situation, their vanity remained absolutely unchanged during that time. That was also a problem, that was also a hindrance. So when different kinds of systems were just introduced, it were just inaugurated by the British government, I personally think that the social reformers, they could just speak out, they could just speak loudly, they could just raise their voice that these are the merits and the demerits of the social obstruction. So they did not just speak out loudly, they did not just tell loudly, they did not have any kind of communication, connection with the common peoples or the lower class people. So that's why the lower class peoples during that time, they sought to think that we should just they couldn't just understand that whether we should join, we should just get enrolled in this movement or not. So better they had just stayed apart from this movement, they just did not join this movement. And you know, children, that without having any unity, a movement cannot be developed, a movement cannot get any kind of momentum, it cannot be achieved, it cannot achieve any momentum. So that's why lots of people's, the situation got absolutely unchanged, and due to the lack of communication, good leadership, the movement was not spread rapidly in the society. However, the transformation was very good. For the first time, lots of people, they had just promoted the women education, they had just worked very hard for the promotion of the widow remarriages, child marriage was also just abolished, ghat system was also just abolished. I mean, you know, the ghat system, that was if a person become very much sick at the time, when he became very old or she became just older at the time, the person was just left beside the river Ganges, so that he could be just floated, he could be just floated on the river Ganges. He was not taken away by his family. That was the ghat system during that time. This was also a social injustice or the social evil during that time. However, Droning the girl child was also abolished by Lord Wellesley in the year of 1803. So lots of social injustices and the curses were there, and finally they had just tried a lot. Now I will just tell you the last topic of today, that is the reform movements in the Muslim society, Aligarh movement. So I already told you children that when the social reform movements, it was on the full swing. During that time the Muslim society could not means they understand, they sort of think that the British intentionally they are trying to just transfer the religion from the Muslim religion to the Christianity, just like for the Hindus also. The Hindus also sort to think that the Indians, I mean the British, they were trying intentionally to just divert the religion from Hinduism to the Christianity. So that's why they were also very much frightened. They got scared about that, especially the Muslims, as because they had held a very prestigious position since the Delhi Sultanate period, during the Mughal period also. So that's why they sort to think that we will just not bow down our heads in front of the British. They become absolutely reluctant to just take English education, to enroll enroll themselves in these British educational institutions and all these things. So finally a person was there. His name was Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan. So you may just compare the person with Raja Ram Mohan Roy. What Raja Ram Mohan Roy he exactly did in our state, means West Bengal, even India. So just like that, Sir Syed Ahmed Khan, he was also a social reformer, just like Raja Ram Mohan Roy. He also had just done lots of good things for the betterment of the Muslims during that time. For instance, I'm saying that he had just founded Aligarh Anglo-Oriental College in the year of 1875. First of all, it was a school, Aligarh Anglo-Oriental School, and finally later on it got shifted. It was transferred from the school to the college, Aligarh Anglo-Oriental College, Mohammedan College, that was founded by him. And from there he wanted to just motivate, inspire the Muslims that just like the Hindus, we also just must take the education, we must just pacify the British. So not only that, even the social customs, the social elaborate rituals, the meaningless rituals of the Muslim society, even the discrimination, even the discrimination between the two different Muslim groups, Shia Muslim and the Sunni Muslim, finally that also became very much important during that time. He also Sir Syed Ahmed Khan, he also just worked very hard to just disseminate the knowledge amongst the Indian Muslims that Quran, the holy scripture of the Muslim religion, that was obviously Quran, that was he told that it was just misinterpreted by the previous ulema. So finally by his rationalistic idea, rationalistic idea, he wanted to just boost up the Muslim centric movement, spiritual thinkings, thoughts amongst the all Muslims finally. And what has happened, one most important part of this religious movement from the Muslim society I must share with all of you, that is from this Aligarh Anglo-Oriental College. Not only the Muslims, apart from the Muslims, despite the Muslims also, lots of Hindus and the Hindu Bengalis, they also just went over there to just take education from there. So the reforms undertaken by Sir Sayyid had their own limitations. So few limitations were obviously there. Yes, we know that every social reform movement is having some merits, some demerits. With all these things we must go. So what has happened, those programs had no impact on the large members of the society. So previously also, just few moments ago, I was discussing about what was the limitation of the social reform movement. Actually what has happened, they couldn't just make any direct connection, no interaction was there between the leaders or the social reformers with the common people. First of all, I think that I must be very much interactive with everyone. Otherwise, how can it be possible that what is the ethics, what is the perspectives, what are the different thoughts, thinkings, and religious beliefs of different persons? So they couldn't just make any kind of direct interaction with the common peoples, and that was the most important hindrance on the obstacle or the obstruction during that time. So only few educated Muslims, they got connected with this kind of movement, social reform movement. Obviously that was promoted by Sir Syed Ahmed Khan, and most of the peoples, most of the Muslims, those who belonged under poverty, those who were uneducated, unlettered, they couldn't have direct communication with Sir Syed Ahmed Khan and obviously his Aligarh movement. So just like in the Hindu society, in the Hindu-centric social reform movement, the Muslim-centric social reform movement also was just lagging behind due to some problems or some obstacles. So, but finally, I mean, both communities, I mean, the Hindus and Muslims, they had just come to know that yes, now we have to be very much rational. We have to think in a different way. The liberal centric movement should be started from the society, and that was the outcome. And for that reason, in my next class, in my next video, I will definitely tell you, I will share you that how all the movements, the different movements will take place in the society from the sides of the either from Hindus or from Muslims, and that was only for the social reform movement. Though we have just discussed today on the basis of religions or the religious, but still, children, you must just remember that all religions are same. There is no difference. But Ramkrishna Paramhansadeva, he said in his life that all religions are same, and for that reason he told Sarva Dharma Samabhava. It is actually, we just make a fusion amongst all the religions. Being a Hindu, I just appreciate the Muslim religion, Sikh religion, Jainism, Buddhism. So I also anticipate that the Muslims, they will also just appreciate our own religion. They will just they will just not misinterpret our religion just like us. So if the fusion can be made, if the amalgamation can be there between amongst all the religions, I think united India will be just made. No communal right is necessary for that, and no communal right will just take place, and we can just live here for a long span of time. We can just live here harmoniously, what we used to just live previously. So for children, for today, up to this, if you just having any question, any query regarding this teaching, you may just go to the comment section. You can just write your query. I will definitely just get back to you. So by my next video, I will definitely discuss about the revolts of the peasants and the tribals. That will be very much interesting. Till then, stay home, and stay safe. Thank you. Bye bye.